For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Welcome to another edition of the Focus program. Glad to have you along. We are coming through the month of October, approaching the month of November really rapidly. We've got good guests for you today. We've got a representative from the Home Builders Association of Southeastern Michigan, and then Deb Johnson will return. We haven't seen Deb in a month or so. She's got a lot of important information from St. Clair County Community Mental Health. But let's first welcome the CEO of the Home Builders Association of Southeastern Michigan, Mr. Mike Stafkoff. I was pretty close.
That's pretty close. Hey, you were in the ballpark. There's a lot that don't even get that far.
The Dingeman name gets screwed up too. Dingaling, dingalong, so I totally understand the names. Right. Talk to me about the Home Builders Association of Southeastern Michigan. What is it?
Sure. So it's a 501c6. That sounds really official.
C6.
Right? C6.
Okay.
So that's a trade association in IRS parlance. But we're a trade association for residential builders, remodelers, trade subcontractors, and then all the companies like title companies, bankers, lawyers, and such that want to work with them. And we represent our charter area is Oakland, Wayne, Macomb, and St. Clair County.
Okay.
So we have some members in St. Clair County. Would love to see more members in St. Clair County, and hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that.
What does the association do for a member?
Okay, so we are a membership organization, and I joke with folks that my job is really an event planner because we put on events. Primarily, we put on events, educational events for our members so that they can keep their certifications or licensing, things of that nature, continuing competency. But we also advocate on behalf of our members, and we had a great example of that. Not that I wanted to have the example, but in March and April through May, it was the Home Builders Association of Southeastern Michigan, along with our state association and other HBAs around the state, that were working tirelessly in Lansing to try to convince the governor, the legislature, the emergency management team to let construction open back up because it shut down in the middle of March, and it was shut down. It stopped, and it was shut down until May 9th. So there were several things that occurred during that time where we explained to them, you know, you're shutting down everything, but somebody may have a house that still has an open wall on it, and they're freezing to death.
Right.
That needs to be buttoned up. You need to allow that. And they, oh yeah, we didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that changed. Same with new home builders. They may have, 3 walls up, and you get some winds coming off of Lake St. Clair or Lake Huron. You blow that thing right off.
Right.
And that investment is not covered by insurance yet for either the homeowner or by the builder. So it's just at risk. So, hey, you got to allow them to button it up to secure their investment and things like that. So we got them to change that, and then of course deemed essential. I mean, even our governor said it in her letter to President Trump for getting federal funding is the safest place for Michiganders is in their home. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if that is the case, then it is an essential activity for builders and remodelers, trade subcontractors to work on those homes.
You guys also put on a pretty big show out in Novi there, don't you?
We do. We've had that franchise running in various locations, starting at Cobo Hall way back in the day.
Yeah.
Now TCF Center, of course. But for the last 25 years, we've been out in Novi at Suburban Collection Showplace. We do 3 shows a year. They're home shows. So we do that on behalf of our members. Because they want to do business with consumers, and this is the way that they can effectively, this is the original crowdsourcing, if you will, use the internet parlance, where they pay us a fee, we put together the show, we spend $250,000 a year on advertising to get homeowners and potential homeowners to come out to the home show. They walk the center and get to see roofers, contractors, whatever. In a way of developing a warm relationship so that then you can have a sales call that's more productive than just hoping that they find you in the yellow pages or on the internet or whatever.
The show is always pretty spectacular. I mean, I remember going to it over the years, And it was late January, right? Early February?
Well, actually, we do 3 of them a year. So late January is our winter show. Then we do a spring show, typically a first week of April, and then we do a fall show when we can have them.
First 2 shows. October. First 2 shows were always, get out of the snow and believe that there was going to be some spring or some summer.
Right. Well, and I say when on interviews and stuff, I can tell you this weekend when the home show's on, I can tell you where it's going to be 68 degrees and sunny.
That's right. That's right.
All on one floor. It's real convenient, so it's worth coming out.
A lot of stuff on the radio and the TV and the newspapers about home sales and how home sales are my own personal home sold in 3 days.
Wow.
But then I didn't have a place to live. That is helping construction, and that the whole environment in the industry has changed because of COVID.
And it has, and one of the reasons, and I'd like to say, I hope you'd appreciate this, but up until the pandemic, people ate, drank, slept, and watched TV in their house. Mm-hmm. After the pandemic, they've had to live in their house, capital L-I-V-E.
Yes.
I mean, now your house is not only a place where you eat and sleep and do all that stuff, but it's now your office,
right?
Or maybe 2 offices if husband and wife both
right.
work. It's also a school. You also realize the paint cans don't make a great background for your Zoom call, right?
Correct.
So that's what's driving a lot of remodeling activity. That's also what's driving a lot of new home sales, because some people I'm in a position where I can't, sell. So the people who are selling, the inventories are so low, it's really a seller's market. You see that in the time on market and maybe the price. And so you have those type of situations. Plus, some people are going, this house was just really too small, and now that we're all in here, we need to buy a new house. And the last point I'll make to that is, even during the height of this, 80% of, you can look at it negatively and say 20% unemployment. That's bad. I agree. Don't wish that on anybody. But by the same token, 80% of people were employed. Mm-hmm. And typically in the middle to upper class, as far as income is concerned. So they have the means to look at remodeling or buying a new home. So, and that new home and home sales helps everybody, because all your surrounding values go up. So even if you're not selling today, 3 months from now, your value has gone up because of those sales.
There's a store, a lumber yard by the name of Lumberjack here in Marine City in St. Clair, and I was talking to the manager at the St. Clair store the other day. I said, well, how's your time going through COVID? He said, we've had the best spring we've ever had in years, because people are doing what you're saying. They're remodeling, they're staying at home. So the next step is to say, well, this house isn't big enough, let's get a bigger one. So they're doing both, aren't they? Yep,
they're doing both. That we've seen actually, one of the downsides in the construction industry, and I don't know if the guy at Lumberjack told you this too, but lumber prices shot through the roof.
That's what I heard, yeah.
And a lot of that, or some of that, was at least driven by folks who are getting stimulus checks back in the spring.
Okay.
Maybe they were fully employed, and so they said, well, we could put this money in the bank, we could, use it to pay the mortgage or something, or because we're still fully employed and everything, why don't we build that deck we were thinking about? You're at home, might get out there and do it. So that occurred as well. And,
so the current state of the industry is pretty good. What's the future? Is this going to be a temporary kind of thing after the vaccines come and we all get back to whatever that new normal is, as they're talking about? What do you see for the industry?
Yeah, so every month we put together an economic-based model and forecast 6 months ahead of what permits look like. So through this summer and early fall, we're working off some of the backload that missed out in March and April. I mean, there's just no activity. So we're working through some of that. But again, and I think there's a little bit of hesitation just leading up to the election. You don't know what's going to happen, that type of stuff. But I think what you'll see in 2021, and the Joint Center out of Harvard predict this for remodeling as well, is they're looking at 3 to 5% growth next year, even from where we're at now. And a lot of my remodelers are telling me, including ones in St. Clair, they are seeing the best year that they've ever had. And that's with a month and a half of no activity. So that's pretty good.
Again, why should a remodeler or a builder in St. Clair County join the HBA?
Sure. So number one is in 2020 has put it into focus, pun intended. Put it into 2020 vision. The power of the advocacy. One thing that we saw, whether emergency orders ever come back and all that stuff, but what we saw during that entire time frame was that if you were organized, meaning whether you're a union or whether you're part of a trade association, we're non-union, but we've got union members as well, but you're part of the Residential Builders Trade Association, you have a lot more power. There's strength in numbers. There's truth to that. You see it with gym owners and theaters and stuff. They were ineffective in doing that because they weren't really organized. They formed an association, and all of a sudden, within a couple weeks, things changed. So that's the most important point. But the second part is the industry information that we provide, that econometric model that I spoke about, that covers St. Clair County as well. So if you'd like to look through the fog a little bit 6 months into the future, I may be able to help you with that to see how things are going and how things will be in the future. So, and then it's the ability to learn from your peers. We hold meetings in St. Clair sometimes, not it's not like every week or anything, but we hold them either here at the City Hall or up in Port Huron at the other lumber company, not Lumberjacks. But
Mortimer.
Yep, and so Mortimer's a great member as well. So.
Got your website up on the page there, and if people want to get a hold of you, they can get a hold of you at michaels@builders.org.
Yep, and my cell phone is on there too, but so I got all sorts of calls from non-members alike. Our website is builders.org, pretty easy to remember.
Yeah. And
you see all the things that we do, from our home shows to Parade of Homes, which is another thing that we do with new homes each year, and things that we do for our members as well, so sales and marketing.
And before we went on the air, it was mentioned to me that you've got a special running there now for builders and remodelers in St. Clair County.
We absolutely do. So we started this actually in the spring of 2019. It seems like 10 years ago now.
I was still in high school.
Who knows? Yeah, where were we then? So actually in Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb County, you could join for a minimum of $299 a year, all the way up to $699 a year. But the economy in St. Clair is a little bit different.
Right.
It's just the way it is. And so based on how we're structured, our board of directors approved a special rate in St. Clair County for $99 a year.
Oh my God, that is quite a substantial difference.
60% off that $299 rate, and you get all the features and benefits of a basic member. So you go to builders.org, click on join at the top of the page, and then it'll...
Oh, there it is right there. Only
and then
limited time offer.
Limited time offer. So that offer is still going on, and would love to see anybody that has any more questions, contact me directly, or make it real simple and go join.
Now, the most important question of the whole interview, which is on the bottom of the list here, why on earth would you pick all Detroit Lions players for a fantasy football team?
Well, and we just met, of course, but the people that know me, I do things because it might make a good story. Okay, so this is the story. This is the story. So my son-in-law, who's now my son-in-law, big fantasy football guy. So he created sort of a family fantasy football league. He had some of his friends and stuff in it. And so for the first couple years, been doing it about 6 years now. First 3 years, I was all in, and I've got running backs from Atlanta, and the whole fantasy football, just a normal way of doing it. Second or third year in, I was in our quote unquote Super Bowl and everything. I lost, but I was in our Super Bowl. So, but then I don't know, third or fourth year, I finally realized, and I'm a big NFL fan. I watch any game, and a lot of fun. But the Lions are my team, for better or for worse.
Right.
I'm also a Spartan fan, so that I'm used to disappointment, right? So. You're
a real American guy.
Maybe, there you go. You stay humble. So, anyways, I was getting. It was too much stress to. I don't care about a running back on Atlanta. I don't care if they're in or out.
Right.
It's just like this is no fun anymore.
Right.
So, I was at a season where I wasn't going to make the top tier of the playoffs, so it didn't really matter. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to form an all Lions team. There's going to be 1 year I don't know when that's going to be, and so for me it's $20. I just throw it out there because you're going to lose it anyways, and put it in
either that or a wastebasket.
That's right. But now I only have to watch one game. I only have to be concerned with who's in and out on one team. Now on the bye week, like they had last weekend, I lost 128 to nothing. Okay, I scored 0 points in my fantasy league. I just about won last week. I would have beat 2 other teams. It all comes down to who you're playing that win, right? But it's, if they score somewhere around 30 points and Stafford throws a couple touchdowns, because he throws 2 touchdowns to Galladay, well, I get 6 for Stafford, I get 6 for Galladay. So I'm doubling up there. They score about 30 points, and the defense can, be reasonable in what they give up, and they haven't been very good, obviously. I would win about 50% of the time, and, without any of the stress. So that's the story behind that, but probably needs to be a Super Bowl season. This is not going to be that season.
You are a loyal person. Loyal to the Spartans and loyal to the Lions. We salute you for that.
And the Tigers and the Red Wings and the Pistons. So.
Well, you've got an interesting group, the HBA of Southeastern Michigan, and certainly are interested in helping and watching out for all the contractors who work so hard, and the remodelers. They're nice, decent people, and they work every day, and they do need some support in getting background people to support them. So we thank you for your time today.
Well, I thank you for having me on.
Not a problem. We'll be back with Deb Johnson in just a minute. Great. Good. Well, we are welcoming back to the set of CTV's Focus program, Ms. Deb Johnson, the Executive Director of St. Clair County Community Mental Health. Welcome back there, Ms. Deborah. Nice to see you. Oh, I don't hear her.
Can you hear me now?
Now we got you. There we go. We'll just keep going. So you and I have had strange schedules for the last month or so, and we've missed having you here in the studio, but finally we caught up with you today, and we're going to sort of talk about what's been going on in October and what's coming up in November. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's start with October, because I know we missed our earlier October appearance. I'm not sure where you went now, but anyways.
We got a full screen of you.
Pardon me?
We got a full screen of you. So we get
see more of you. All right. Well, in October, we kicked off Mental Illness Awareness Week. That's always the first week in October. And that was a week that it was established by our United States Congress. And the purpose is to really promote community outreach and public education about recovery and integrated healthcare, behavioral health issues, things like that. Because there are approximately, I know I shared these statistics before with you, but about 1 in 5 Americans will have a mental health issue anytime in a given year. And 1 in 25 adults in the U.S. suffer from a serious mental health issue in a given year. That's a pretty, big percent of our population. And the sad thing about all that is that out of that number, about 37% of those people do not seek treatment. And the reason they don't seek treatment, you can probably guess it, because we've talked about it on your show many times before, is because of the stigma associated with mental health issues. So that's one of the things, every time you let me talk on your show or any other show, I always try to talk about the stigma, because there really shouldn't be any stigma. We talked about this many times, that people don't choose to have mental health issues. It's genetic. They don't choose. It's the way body chemistry, the way bodies are made up, people's brains are made, etc. Just like people don't choose to have cancer or heart disease or some of the other physical health care problems, diabetes that people have. Now, and actually probably physical health care issues, some of those you can attribute more to your behavior or lack of healthy behaviors than mental health issues. So it's not anybody's fault, and people should not be looked down upon for seeking treatment. I talked to one person, and I love the way that they said it. They see a therapist periodically, and they just said, I just need a tune-up. everybody needs a tune-up every now and again when things aren't always going as we wish they would. So anyways, that's my sermon on that, I guess.
Well, we do it with our automobiles. We do it with our homes. We tune them up. We fix the furnaces. We fix the cars. So yeah, that's a very good analogy. It really is.
Yeah, so why wouldn't we fix ourselves when we need to?
Right.
And we go for, a lot of us go for physical health care checkups, your annual physicals every year, and things like that. So why wouldn't you do for behavioral health as well? Right. So also, I think I did say that we had our run for recovery. Unfortunately, this year it was virtual, so not nearly as much fun.
No.
And then another thing that happens in this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and you know that I'm a breast cancer survivor. And since I had started my journey with breast cancer, I just feel compelled to, talk about it and do whatever I can to advocate for that women take the necessary precautions, get their mammograms, do self-breast exams as recommended by their physicians, because early prevention is the key to saving lives. And so we talk about that wherever we can. I know that during this month, probably all the hospitals. I just happened to be at Lake Huron yesterday for something and picked up a flyer that said that they're giving free mammograms for 2 women who can't afford them. So if somebody's listening and doesn't have insurance, they should hurry up and call them, because I think it's only in the month of October.
How long ago did you discover you had breast cancer? How many? Is it 2 years now?
No, as time flies when you're having fun, Paul. It's 4 years.
Wow.
So September. It was actually right around this time in September in 2016. So my hair has been, it was long. It went completely away. It came back. It's been cut a few times. It's got to cut again. Anyways, it's been almost 5 years. So everybody wants to reach the 5-year mark, because then your chance of recurrence decreases, the percentage.
You had some beautiful scarves.
Looking forward to that.
You wore some beautiful scarves on the show.
Thank you.
You did.
Yeah, I didn't like wigs at all. I liked scarves. So
yeah, they worked out good.
So anyways, taking a shot at breast cancer, we've talked about that organization. I'm actually excited. They asked me to be on their board. So they are a nonprofit. They've been doing fundraising, and they have a fund at the foundation that they've set up. And eventually, and the money they raise, it all stays in our county, and it's to help people, help women who have breast cancer pay for, things that they need. And it supports a lot of the programs, the Look Good, Feel Better program, different things like that. So that's a great organization to support whenever you're looking for something to support. And then let's see, what else we want to talk about? Oh, October is also Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And so, again, any of the awareness months that are designated, the primary purposes are to kind of highlight people's abilities, that people, no matter what their situation, people have strengths, they can do great things. And that's in, all the categories or the diagnostic areas that we talk about. We believe in recovery. And even though if you have Down syndrome, it doesn't go away. We're not saying that, but our goal is to help people live as independently or with supports in the community, to be integrated into their community, to be included, things like that. And so that's what we do at Community Mental Health. And we do have a variety of programs for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So that's one of the things that, we hope people don't just associate us with other types of services, but also providing services to individuals, like I said, who have intellectual or developmental disabilities, of which Down syndrome is one of them.
Okay, and what do you got coming up in November then? In
November, well, everybody needs to vote. We encourage everybody to vote. We were not saying who to vote for, but just to get registered. We did a thing here where we help people to register to vote, and just encourage them to get out there and do that. So that's happening, of course, on November 3rd. Also this month, a lot of people smoke cigarettes who receive mental health services, because actually it's unfortunate in the old, and I say in the old days, but actually when I was already working in the field. Some people were given cigarettes as like reinforcers for having good behavior or doing good things, which is horrible. Now we have a lot of smoking cessation programs. We're trying to help people to quit smoking who want to. And the country endorses the Great American Smokeout. It's the third Thursday in November. So this year it's November 19th. So if you haven't quit yet, that November 19th might be a good day to give it a try.
It's a tough thing to do.
There's a lot of resources out there. You can even call, there's, the 800 numbers to call the quit and things like that. And the state of Michigan has a lot of free resources on the michigan.gov site. And so we want to, really encourage people to participate in that. I don't think we can't do it this year because of COVID, but we used to give out little turkey sandwiches like that day and say, quit cold turkey. I quit cold turkey or whatever.
I like that. That's great. That's a great thing to do.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cute. And then suckers. And still, we have a smoke-free campus. So I'm not saying that people never smoke here. They do. They're not supposed to. But we try to encourage them with, giving them a sucker and then resources to quit smoking.
That's great. That's a great thing.
So that's happening. It's also No Shave November in the month of November. And we participate in that event. We do wear pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've done that already. Our pink pictures were posted on our Facebook. So we do pictures for No Shave November. And that was actually started by a family whose father died of prostate cancer. And as a way to remember him and to raise money for, cancer and cancer research and raise awareness about prostate cancer and just other kinds of cancer. That's how that No Shave November started. So obviously it's probably more of a thing for men to do than women. I mean, I'm not saying women can just not shave their legs and underarms, I guess, for the month. But no, people don't really see that depending on how you dress. And but men can, if they want to give up shaving for the month, here at CMH, we will do a before picture and then an after picture because we have several guys that like to do that. My husband is one of those people who likes to participate in that. I tell him he looks like Santa Claus by the end of the month, but I really like Santa Claus. Tim Donnellan, our sheriff, he does it most years. He is retiring. You probably saw that news. Yeah. Sad to see him go as the sheriff. He's done an amazing job. I'd like to throw that out there.
Yeah, he certainly has. And all the times that you guys raise money up on the roofs on the roof sits, you and the sheriff and the prosecutor. And you'll miss him up there.
Oh yeah, we have had great fun up there, and actually while we were up there this year, he got a text from Extreme Powerline, his friend or whoever owns Extreme Powerline, saying, "How much do you need to win this year?" And he read it out loud, and I'm like, "Wow, are you kidding me? Because you need like 15 or 20,000." Well, they gave him because I was winning by that much, and they gave him $15,000.
Oh my God.
Not really him, but for the Child Abuse and Neglect Council, but on his side of the ledger. So we were super happy and we're super grateful for Extreme Powerline that they did that. That's the biggest single contribution I think we've ever gotten during Roof Set.
That's marvelous.
So we were really happy. And this year, in spite of COVID and all the havoc it's wreaked with our community and our country, we still raised about $150,000 for the Child Abuse and Neglect Council. So that was awesome.
Well, that was good.
And Sheriff Tim Donnellan gets to go out with a win.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, have you got anything else for us this month?
Oh, I do want to say, I think I mentioned before, you know how we normally do plays every year around Christmas time, and our plays have a message. This year we're not doing a play because nobody's doing plays, but we are, well, it's sort of a play, but it's going to be videotaped, and then it will be shared on our Facebook, YouTube, and I'm not sure where, but you can watch our Facebook to find out where we'll be airing that play, and it's going to be on December 1st. It'll be available, but we'll let the community know. I'll be on your show before then, and we'll tell you how you can watch that, and I'm sure it will be good. I don't know if I said the title, but it's called Home for the Holidays, and it's a bunch of Christmas-themed skits, and from what I hear, some of them are very funny, but I'm sure that people will enjoy it. Regina Spain of Enter Stage Right is the Citadel Stage is our director for this initiative.
Good. Well, Deb, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and you got a very important a pile of information to share with us every time, so we thank you for doing that. And go ahead. You were going to say something more?
Yes, I forgot one important thing. Oh, you know what? I don't know how fast this airs.
It's going to be on.
Well, I can just say this. We are trying to start a NAMI affiliate again in our community. NAMI stands for the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill. We have an informational meeting tonight. We have a number of people have RSVP'd that are interested in coming, but NAMI is one of the biggest advocacy organizations for people with mental illness. And the local chapters are intended to help provide support, education for families and friends of people with severe mental illness or mental illness, I guess, but usually it's severe mental illness. But at any rate, there's a lot of great resources through having one of these chapters. And so we have an informational meeting tonight here at CMH. But more information, if people watch our Facebook or listen to this even after tonight and are interested in being a part of that initiative, they just need to contact us. They can contact me or Kathleen Gallagher, Mark Hutchinson. Just call and say they're interested in hearing more about NAMI, and that's NAMI, and we will get the info to them.
Well, I'm glad you got that on, and we will certainly make sure that people see that and respond to it. This program will not air tonight, but it'll be on for the next few days. And it sounds like a wonderful organization people should be involved in. Okay.
It is.
Okay, thanks again.
All right, thank you, Paul. Have a great day.
I certainly will. That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks, Deb Johnson, and from the people from HBA of Southeastern Michigan. Until next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.